would wear shorts and t-shirts until it was like 40 degrees, right? But now that I've lived in Florida almost half my life now, as soon as it drops below 70, I'm in sweaters.
She has thin blood now.
I do. It's probably the drinking. But anyways, welcome to Books and Booze. Hello. Thank you for joining us. This month we have been featuring an amazing book that was perfect for a month of thanks, right?
Yes, it was.
What book did you introduce me to?
I introduced Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, so amazing.
Yes.
And the spirit we've been enjoying this book with this month is by the St. Petersburg Distillery over in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's their Old St. Pete vodka. They have several different spirits, but we are enjoying vodka this month. And today we just kind of put things together the way we like to just easy sip, right? Like, I don't know, what did you do? You did vodka?
I've got just really simple. I got vodka, some seltzer water, a little splash of this Fever Tree grapefruit, which is
it's so good.
Thank you, Fever Tree. And some lime and lemon.
Yes, and I did the grapefruit with the vodka and a little bit of lemon too. So cheers to you. Thank you for joining. Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for introducing this book. Oh, yes. My goodness.
Oh, and I should probably introduce myself too. My name's Leilani, and this is...
I'm Kristen. Hey!
And thank you for joining us today with our...
What Books and Booze podcast.
Which episode?
This is episode number 2 for this book. However, I think this is our 5th episode.
Thus far, yes. And I hope you've been enjoying us so far, and we haven't annoyed you yet.
No. What we're hoping is you get a wealth of information about books that have inspired us. Yeah. And especially for you on your entrepreneur path, as a business owner, kept you in check, right? And as a wife and mother,
Yeah, a lot of times these, when you're on your journey of entrepreneurship or even just business owner in general, sometimes it's a lonely path because you don't feel like you can relate to anyone. But then when you start reading these books and seeing that a lot of these authors have gone through the exact same thing you've gone through, it actually warms the heart a bit. And then what's even better about it is when you find people who've read the same book or you inspire others to read the same book, and then now we're all we have this community built, we can relate to each other, and it's an awesome feeling.
It is such an awesome feeling, right? So last week we dug into kind of basically the introduction of it, like the first maybe 3 or 4 chapters, where she's really catching you up on her reasons for why, just a thankful mindset, not letting things get you down, but realizing the joy and the gratitude mindset brings you to a new frequency.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So it was really neat to dig into that. But this book then is really a 30-day program in theory.
In theory, 30 days.
Yep.
You can run yourself a 30-day experiment on gratefulness.
Yep. Which I feel like a lot of us do at Thanksgiving or November anyways, right? It seems to be a month where no matter what your political views might be on Thanksgiving and all of that, no, we do realize that coming into the holidays is a time to reflect and be grateful for things.
Yes.
So, perfect time to do this book. And my husband even asked me, he goes, do you feel like this book is for business people? And I said, absolutely. Yes, a lot of the stories that, or I shouldn't even say stories, the histories, the situations that Pam recounts,
which she calls puddings,
yes, are of people she's known or customers of hers, and or not customers, but people who have read her book. So what is that? People who have read her fans. Yes.
Yeah, her readers.
Her readers.
It could also be just her associates too.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yes. Anyways, she recaps things, amazing things that have happened to them that have helped get them right back on the correct path within their business.
Yes.
So yes, this is for business owners, but it's not only for business owners.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And thinking about what we're doing too as Books and Booze. Yes, this is Saige Consultants, and we're great coaches and consultants for small business, startups, and entrepreneurs. However, we do understand that a lot of what you do as a business owner is intertwined with your personal side of things. So I really like this book for the simple fact that it could be applied. And actually, most of the books I've been suggesting have applied to either personal or business.
Yep,
and it's essential because you need that.
Absolutely. And Pam's a single mom. She has a teenage daughter, or now maybe probably in college, or probably even graduated, I think, from when this book was written.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
So that, a lot of what she brings certainly applies to parenting and just being in general. I mean, how many of us have to go to the grocery store, have to go to the DMV? She gives a situation of when you're in a long line at the DMV. But anyway, so what I like that Pam did is she created parties. Each chapter conceptually is a party, and you go through 27 parties total over the course of the month. And so each chapter you get a party, and then she gives a party favor, which is kind of a little more meat to her reason for why to have that party. And she does, but I appreciate that she laces it with even some scientific backing on some of them. I will go as woo-woo as I can, but I like to know that I'm not just, floating in the clouds. Like, there's a
She's
logic.
looking for the substance behind it.
Yes. And then she gives what's called pudding, right? Because she says the proof is in the pudding. So this is where she will recount something that somebody has shared with her, or has happened to her, or a close friend or family member of hers, that ties back to her reason that you should have this party game that you do. Right?
Yeah, it's a great concept.
It is a really great concept. It was a lot of fun to read. So I'll start with party game 1, right? She called it Amazing Awesomeness 2.0. And she likened it to, when you go to like some sort of recovery or healing classes. She referenced AA, but anybody that has to go through a time of intense healing, you have to go through the different steps. And she kind of likened the mental process of coming into forgiveness and then gratitude.
Yes.
And just waking up every day and saying something amazingly awesome is going to happen today.
Yes.
And since I started the book a few weeks ago, I've been doing that.
Please share something. You just told me something
I
earlier
know.
today. She's going to share with you what happened to her. And I was like, hey.
My husband's been working on something within his business and needed a very specific form because he is a U.S. veteran. And he has tore this house apart. Since he received this form in the mail, we've moved. We went through a pandemic. We've had teenagers. We've had several Halloween and Christmas parties. Like, the house gets tore up and turned inside out and everything like that. He has tore this house apart looking for this form that he needs, and just felt like, okay, let me just dish out money and order a new form. Well, I woke up 2 days ago and I said something amazingly awesome is going to happen today. And while I was getting my hammock out of our front hall closet to lay out in my garden so that I could just enjoy the cool, crisp morning and the birds and the little bit of flowers that are still blooming, boom, something falls over in the closet, and this envelope falls onto the floor out of this kind of organizer. And I'm like, that looks like something official that Kevin might need. And it had already been opened. I looked at it, and it's got all these important numbers and everything on it. So I go upstairs and I wake him up. I was like, Kevin, what form do you need for the government? And he said whatever it was, and I hold it up to him. He goes, what? Where was it?
He was awake.
He was awake.
He woke up at that point.
So it was just, where did that come? It's almost like it fell out of the sky.
Something amazingly awesome happened that day.
Yes. So him having that form will allow his business to move forward on a few things. So that form was holding him back on. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have chills.
Yeah. No, it was great. And when she told me, I was like,
right? So
I'm so happy.
It was awesome. So we've started saying that, and then Kevin even said, well, why does it only have to be one thing? Why can't a lot of amazing, awesome things happen? So we've actually changed what we say in the morning, that today many amazingly awesome things are going to happen, right? And it might be how happy our dogs are to see us in the morning, and they just look at you with so much love, right? Your pets, holy cow, talk about unconditional love.
I know. Don't tell me. Well, story for another day. My puppy has been a little sick, but he's feeling a lot better.
He's feeling better,
yeah, he's
right?
He's feeling better.
And you can just see it in their eyes, right? Yes. Oh, my goodness.
And, I like when Kevin said, why can't it just be one? Why does it have to be just one? Why can't it be multiple? And I think this party game was really around just trying to get you in the mindset of declaring that something awesome is going to happen.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
it doesn't have to be one, it could be many, it could be just as soon as you wake up, that mindset shift. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes, you know, you can carry baggage from one day to the next. But if in that morning you wake up, you can make a decision to put yourself in the right mindset to say, I declare something is going to happen to me today that's good. And that's what this party game is all around. And just a positive mindset, and it does. It helps.
It starts your whole day differently.
Yeah.
Right? I think another chapter of hers, another party game, is somewhat about how you start your day, too. We'll clearly get through that, but what a great way to start the book and to start your day. She even goes in that within that book, in that chapter, to write down 3 blessings each day. And not necessarily the big blessings, right? Like, I consider my kids blessings.
Those
right?
are easy ones.
Those
your
are because
kids, your husband, your dogs, your those are
the
the
house.
Yeah.
All that. But she even goes into like, you know what? There was less traffic on the road on the way to work this morning, or you know, my flight was on time and I was able to get quickly through security onto the plane, you know, without delay. Like those are blessings too.
Acknowledging all the little nuances that happen every day, which people tend to take for granted, but there really are blessings.
They are.
If you really like, like we talked about in the last one, I'm able to get out of my bed and walk to the bathroom, you know, because I have feet, you know, things like that, you know.
So much to be grateful for.
So much to be grateful for.
Right? So that was fun.
It was fun. And, you know, so the next party game, which is party game number 2, she says to make a list of all the ridiculously beautiful things you already have. So I like vision boards, you know, like any other person. I like to envision what I will have in the future. And
your goals.
My goals.
Yes.
I like that. They're fun, right? It's fun to imagine and envision how your life will be. In this case, she's saying, well, why don't we just go ahead and make a vision board about the things you already have? And so when I read that, it brought me back to a friend of mine. Julia, if you're watching, this is to you.
Hi, Julia.
She went and she said that most people love what they want. But the true thing is to love what you have.
Right now.
And so if you go and you make a vision board of all the things that you already have that impacts you, that you're grateful for, your vision, that vision board is probably, you know, if you really think about it, it's probably a vision that someone else has their board as their want, but you already have. And just showing that gratefulness for that.
What you have.
In this moment. Yeah.
So Kevin and I had done a vision board on Canva, right? Because you can make those slide presentations like we use for our slides. I'm getting very good at Canva. Anyway, so we kind of made our vision board and everything that we want to accomplish and do and where we see ourselves, you know, doing more good. But after reading this, we added several slides, and we've had to keep adding slides because we're running out of space to put on it the things that we consider blessings and the things that we're grateful for. You know, it was easy. The first day, like you guys and the A's and Jelly and all of our dear friends, my cousin, my mom, you know, people that are so dear to us, it was easy to put that on there. And then, of course, Nola and Magellan, the dogs, which are, I guess, famous now thanks to our Instagram channel, apparently. Everyone like Magellan. But anyways, that's easy. But then you had to get deeper into it. And like when Kevin and I were doing it the other day, I'm like, you know what? I have a cooking spatula for each holiday.
How was that?
That's something to be thankful for. When I was making Halloween stuff, I used one that had skulls on it. And now that we're getting ready for Thanksgiving.
I'm grateful for her cooking skills.
Oh, thank you.
So good.
I love to cook. It's one of my love languages. Because I only like to cook for people I care about. Other than that, I just don't feel like things don't turn out as... I'm learning I care about everybody, right? Like as I evolve. But anyways, I'm grateful for my spatulas and thank you for what you said. So, but yeah, going on with the number 2, all the ridiculous things to be thankful for, right?
Yeah, and I you know, I think I'm going to take a page out of your book, and I haven't made a slide. I just kind of, since I've read Pam's book, and I read her book now, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago. I actively, when things good happen and I see them right away, they happen, I acknowledge them right away. And when I see things happening in my life that I already have, or things that I've wanted and I already have, I acknowledge them right away. And it's amazing. It's just, I don't know, that vibration we talked about previously, how you feel it from here all the way down.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just feels different. I don't know how else to describe it,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of the things Pam talks about in her book. She kind of guarantees that as you go through this and you adjust your frequency and you come out of, man, I'm stuck with this, or man, this, and you get into a frequency of gratitude and joy, that you will experience things.
Yeah.
And like one of her puddings one, and actually with this, the first time I read the book, I had a hard time with some of her puddings because they do get a little spiritual, which I struggle with because I was raised to absolutely believe in God, believe in an active spiritual realm. But here I am trying to like marry business and spiritual, and I was struggling at first, right? But I loved this story that she does putting in your chapter 2 with somebody named Jennifer and Michael had gotten married.
Radio, yes.
And her grandfather was like a father figure to her. She had moved from Germany, I think it was, and he had passed away when she was 16, but he always held a dear place in her heart. And at their wedding, Michael tried to fix this radio for his bride-to-be as a gift. It just would not work.
Yeah.
But on their wedding day, they heard music coming from the upstairs bedroom, and in the drawer was the radio, and the radio was playing love songs or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just played for the day.
That's it. The one day.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and it went back to being an inoperable radio right after that.
Yeah. So just being on that wavelength of gratitude and just thankfully, think about that was a day of love and celebration for them. So their frequency was probably like super high, and for whatever connected to a memory of her grandfather, and that radio gave her that little extra smile and joy that she needed, right?
Yeah.
I just gave me chills. So that was chapter 2. Chapter 3.
Uh-huh.
Chapter 3, I think she called "Shake Your Pom Poms." Darn near everything.
Yeah.
And she says with this one, just accept everything, right? Like cheer on everything, basically. Like there isn't anything bad that's happening. There's just something that you can learn from and accept and things like that. She even talks about allowing it to happen versus you feeling like, man, this is happening to me.
Yeah.
So,
and not taking the mindset of it's happening to me, it's happening for
me, for my growth,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And holy cow, there's so much that happens in life that it's very easy to say, poor me.
So it makes me think about the butterfly effects. And I don't know, maybe it's a weird association, but sometimes you're stuck in traffic, and you're like, oh, God, how many or you caught every red light. I don't know if that's happened to you, but it's happened to me. You're going down one road, and if you caught every green light, you get there in 5 minutes, but you catch every red light, it takes a half hour.
45 minutes, right?
And you go and you're like, oh my gosh, of course it would happen to me. I got the freaking red light, all the red lights. But if you go beyond that, maybe in that moment in time, you needed that extra half hour to think about things, or maybe your soul needed that extra half hour to be by itself stuck in traffic for inner peace. Or the butterfly effect is you don't know what you avoided, circumstances you avoided in that time going forward.
So true.
So when things like that happen to me now, and don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not perfect. I still mess up, okay, and or not mess up, but I get
flustered, angry,
my vibration, I'm not tuning into the frequency all the time. But when I catch myself, I try to come back to that and say, everything does happen for a reason, and the universe is doing it for me. It has my back. And so in those moments like that, it's just a matter of, there's no such thing of it happening to you. It's happening for you. Maybe we don't have the all-knowing spirit to see it in that moment, but if we look forward, if we're forward in time and we look back, it'll make sense at that point.
I agree, and I've gotten to a point embracing this traffic here in Florida. I listen to podcasts or my YouTube or my TED Talks.
Yeah.
And I actually hope that I get more red lights because I want to either get through another one or finish that 45 or 50 minute one that I chose for that commute.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to look at it, and you are so right. But that's what she says. Shake your pom-poms at everything and tell it that it's allowed and honor it, she says. Yeah. Right?
So her next party game, she talks about, it's called the Looney Goonie game, which is pretty much, okay, so I'm going to read it straight from the, be thankful for the seemingly insignificant things, like wild geese flying in a V formation, a blue sky, etc. So I struggled a little bit with this one, only because, you put me on that path, I would think everything, like, I mean, the blue bird falls in front of me, I'm like, oh, it's a sign. Or, just various things. So I struggled a little bit, but outside of that, it's just being open to receive. Yeah, I understood what she was saying there. It's just being thankful for everything is opening you up to receive. And if you're open for noticing even the smallest things, then it'll be very easy for you to receive the big things.
Yep.
And that's how I took that party fair.
Absolutely, because she uses her pudding story in this one of the guy who had a rental car and left his garage door opener in it. Much like my husband frantically looking for this form. Yeah. Well, instead of him getting all flustered, and I think at the meantime he was dealing with his 5-year-old son having a meltdown, or 4-year-old son having a meltdown, and I think he also had left his ID at a bar he was at the night before. So everything that could go wrong was going wrong, right? But he just decided to remain grateful, remain calm, and when he was going to the bank to just draw out cash so that he could go to lunch still, he had lunch plans that day, he took a moment to calm his son down, and then they go to the bank, and while he's walking into the bank, he sees what he's pretty sure was the rental car.
Not how ironic,
right? He'd already turned the rental car in the day before. The rental car didn't see the garage door opener in it and had already rented the car again. So he just politely asked, he goes, I really think that that's a rental car, and the other person confirmed it was, apparently. And he looked in it, and sure, in the little pocket, there was the garage. So he got his garage door opener back.
Yeah. How cool is it that the guy actually agreed to let him look through the car, right?
A lot of times we get so suspicious of our fellow humans, right? And then I think what he said happened was he just by chance drove past the bar, and he saw a car parked in front. So he went in, and the owner had to go in early for something else. So he was able to get his ID, and then, and then it ended up being okay. Right, and there aren't huge things, right? He didn't win the lottery.
Yeah.
But just those things that we kind of let frustrate us.
Just let it go. Yeah, let it go. I can't recall right now off the top of my mind. But I do have my own stories, and maybe one day whenever I call them, I might put it on this podcast for you guys.
I feel like as we continue talking through things like this,
it'll come up.
Right.
It'll come up.
And they come back. And so even if we're like, oh, when we talked about that. Yeah, no problem.